What is going on, people? This is the JT Sports Show, episode 32. We are back for another NFL recap plus NFL preview. We'll talk about the Minnesota Twins. They made a trade. And maybe if Lewis leaves, me and Boris will talk about the Timberwolves. But, fellas, how are we doing on this fine Tuesday afternoon?
Well, doing good. My predictions for last weekend weren't very good, but you're gonna win some, you're gonna lose some. But I'm feeling good going into this weekend. Hopefully, get some better games this weekend. But NFL football is always great.
Yeah, the games this weekend were not very good. Very underwhelming. I mean, the Jags and the Chiefs was okay. It was a little concerning, or at least I thought Jags might win once Mahomes got hurt. The Eagles-Giants, I didn't watch a second of because I was at the Wolves game. That game was dog crap. What was the third game? Bills-Bengals, sort of a blowout. And then Niners-Cowboys was probably the best game, but it was super low scoring. So, yeah, I mean, a little underwhelming weekend.
Yeah.
All right. Let's recap our records real quick on what our predictions were. Lewis, you did go 2-2. You had the Chiefs, you had the Giants beating the Eagles, you had the Bills beating the Bengals and the 49ers. So you incorrectly picked the Giants and the Bills. Borsty and we both went 4-0. And we were just talking about this before we started. But the only game I've gotten wrong in the playoffs is the Vikings. So I'll give myself a pat on the back. Borsty, you had the worst week one. And so
I rebounded.
I'm not sure how much time left we'll have to make up for these records to catch me, but there's 2 games this weekend, and then there's the Super Bowl. So only 3 games left of the NFL season.
So these games count as 2 for our records, right? And then the Super Bowl counts as 4 games.
I mean, if you want to, I'm not losing.
Well, for the Super Bowl, we should do like spreads, basically.
Should we do some props? We could do some props.
That might be a good idea. It has to be at least plus 400 or worse. All right.
Well, hey, I was just saying it before we got on, but I did call this Bengals thing over the Bills a while ago.
You did.
I actually wrote in my notes our sleepers, or we can look back at that real quick. Jack, you had the Bills overrated. Yep.
Yeah.
I had the Bills as overrated. Lewis had the Eagles as overrated. Sleeper, Jack, you said Vikings and Chargers. Lewis said the Chargers. I said the Jags, so we're all out there. But
I mean, like the only sleeper that we could have really said would have been like the Bengals. That would be right.
Yeah, and that's not a sleeper.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I guess we're all. There was no correct answer there, quite honestly. But let's just quickly go through the games this weekend, even though they're kind of boring. Jags and Chiefs. Obviously, Mahomes got hurt. I thought there was a shot the Jags had a chance to win. I had them as my sleeper, so I think that was the only team that the Vikings were out that I really wanted to win and make a run because I just like underdogs. And now it's all favorites getting into the conference championships. But what are your guys' thoughts on this game, especially after Mahomes got hurt? And what do you think this means for this week's game?
Well, that's the bigger story is what it means for this week's game. But watching that game with Mahomes going out, it was like, oh my God, he looked like he broke his ankle in half. It turned out it's a high ankle sprain, which is very painful. But it was pretty crazy watching the game because the Jags weren't out of it.
Yeah.
Until late in the third quarter, fourth quarter, it seemed insurmountable, especially with Mahomes back in.
Mm-hmm.
But Kelsey just refuses to be covered by anyone. It's like, can we just double this guy? Who are we going to throw to now?
He's an all-timer.
It's unbelievable. And it's not like he's running these unbelievable routes like Justin Jefferson. He literally just runs that 5-yard turnaround, catch, and run for 5 more. I don't know how they don't get onto that.
It's because they mask him as a blocker.
Yeah. Also, Mahomes in his first 2 drives before he got hurt was playing unbelievable.
Yeah.
Some of the throws he was making, he was making jump throws. He's making sidearm throws. He was feeling himself. So I'm kind of bummed that he's hurt for next weekend because I would just love to see a just healthy Mahomes against a healthy Burrow. But
the question was, after Chad Henne went 96 yards on a drive, was whether Patrick Mahomes is overrated.
Well, also Henne threw the ball 2 times on that drive or something.
That dude's in the league for so long. I remember back in 2010, that guy was the Dolphins starting quarterback or something. And
he's made a ton of money.
Yeah.
Lewis, you like the Henny memes I was sending you?
Yeah, those are pretty funny.
What were your thoughts on Trevor Lawrence in this game? I thought he was a bit up and down, but overall, I think the Jags are going to be a really good team next year.
Yeah, Jack.
Yeah, well, I agree. But one thing I did take away from that game was the Chiefs' defense kind of showed me something. They played well. They were flying around a little bit, a lot of tackles for loss, and I think that they could maybe contain Burrow and Chase and all them a little more than the Bills did. But yeah, you're right. Jacksonville's going to be really, really good for a long time. Lawrence, that was a great experience for him.
On
Yeah,
the road at Arrowhead.
I would not want to be a team in the AFC at the moment because the amount of good quarterbacks and good teams that are in that conference is unbelievable.
Yeah.
But yeah, Jags are ahead of schedule because this is, you got to think of this as basically Trevor Lawrence's rookie year for how bad of a coach Urban Meyer was. Urban Meyer definitely set Trevor Lawrence back.
Yeah.
And Doug Peterson's on the way to fixing. I mean, you can call it fixing, but
great
he's just
hire.
on the way to building a better team. And they're getting back Calvin Ridley next year too, who is going to be a great weapon alongside Christian Kirk and Evan Ingram.
AFC South, worst division in football too.
They're gonna run away with AFC South next year because the Titans have major issues in their own right, and they've been the team that's owning it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I coming into the year, I was thinking Christian Kirk. I remember when he signed that contract. I'm trying to see how much it was. I thought it was the worst contract of all time.
The Jags spent like the most money in the offseason.
It's a solid deal.
Now it looks that way, but he didn't do garbage for the Cardinals.
Yeah,
he wasn't even that good.
Yeah, most of the time in the NFL, it's a bad idea when your team is spending millions and millions of dollars in free agency on these older players, but it kind of worked out for the Jags this year.
Yeah.
It helps.
I picked him on my fantasy team. I picked him on my fantasy team in like the 5th round. Like it was a good move, and like you said, they're getting Ridley back next year, so I think he's going to be coming out flying after stupid suspension. But.
Yeah, it helps when your quarterback's in a rookie contract too to be able to spend all that money.
That doesn't hurt. The second game was the Giants and Eagles. Like I said, I didn't really watch this game, but I guess that's a good thing because it sounds like it was just a utter dominance. Lewis, did you watch this?
Yeah, I ended up watching the game on delay, but I just watched the condensed game because I was going to watch the whole game, but then I was like, well, this game is stupid. So what a snooze fest. The Eagles came out hot. The game was over as soon as they went down the field, 7-0, boom, 14-0, and that was it. Giants are a comeback team.
Mm-hmm.
So Dable's decision to defer on the kickoff, maybe not the best. Maybe you got to try to score early in Lincoln Financial Field and hope that you take the crowd out of it. Maybe a 0.1% or something, but as soon as Eagles go up 7-0, they're already rocking. Jalen Hurts looked good in the highlights that I saw, but we don't even need to talk about this game that much if none of us really watched it.
Anyway. It's more salt in the wound on the Vikings.
I was just gonna say that.
This just shows how bad the Vikings defense really was.
I mean, come on.
Quick interlude here. I think the Vikings should hire Brian Flores as defensive coordinator.
Yeah, I think we're all in agreement on that.
I heard that the Cardinals are going after him as a head coach.
To interview.
No, I think it's more than that, and I think he would fit in there. He just seems like he could be a Cardinals.
Well, he'd rather be a head coach than a coordinator.
Yeah,
obviously.
Yeah. I know, but they're just interviewing him. So.
We'll
if he's not there, I'd like Brian Flores. These other guys that they're interviewing, I've never even heard of. So,
Cardinals are a horrible organization. So I'd feel bad for them.
Ever since Carson Palmer left, they've just been a disaster. Bills Bengals, that first game on Sunday was a pretty good game until it became out of hand. This was supposed to be the best game, and like Borstein and I predicted, the Bills are frauds, and the Bengals could sort of do whatever they wanted offensively, whether that's because of Joe Burrow, but I think it's more because their defense just sucks. And the last few weeks of the regular season, they were showing this. The Patriots did whatever they wanted to do on them. There's a couple other teams that did whatever they wanted to do.
Patriots.
But even the Dolphins last week, they put up a good fight, and that's all I needed to know. And
Skylar Thompson.
I was skeptical. I said last week on the podcast, I was skeptical of both teams because the Bengals didn't look good at all against the Ravens. The Ravens should have won that game, and the Bills didn't look good either. So, but after I watch this game, I do think Joe Burrow's just that dude.
He is.
Yeah, that's what everyone's saying. I think everyone's too high on Joe Burrow right now, even though he has been the Pat Mahomes killer. I think Kansas City comes out and wins this game this weekend. But I think the Bills' issues on defense was more due to injury, even though Leslie Frazier has not been. I mean, former Vikings head coach Leslie Frazier. People are calling for his head in Buffalo. But I mean, they've had a wrecked secondary. Von Miller being out is terrible. Like,
yeah, ever since Von Miller went out, their rush was garbage.
That's the main issue with them, more than like the Vikings issue. It's not like the Vikings had major injuries. It's just like their scheme and their players sucked. It's right. That's the difference. And Josh Allen did come out kind of flat. He missed a couple throws. We don't. I feel like he's still injured, but the offense was almost just flat for Buffalo, and they're set up to be a dome team more than an outside team. So they're in a tough spot in the AFC gauntlet. I think if they're in the NFC, it'd be like, all right, we'll try again next year. But in the AFC, it's like, all right, we got some major changes we need to make.
Yeah. Plus the Stephon Diggs stuff that came out after the game. He just left. He left before the coaches even got to the locker room or something, and then somebody tried to bring him back in. And then there's that video that circulated of him yelling at Josh Allen. I respect Josh Allen for just not even looking at him. Yeah. But we said this, Stephon Diggs, he's great to have when your team's a good team, when you're winning, when the vibes are high. He is not who you want in that locker room when things go bad.
No, and I think that the JJ Stephon Diggs conversation is beneficially over. But to any of the people still holding out on that, I think that
it's been over for I think 2 years. But
yeah.
I mean, JJ is young still, so we don't know in 3 years if the team sucks, if he wants to leave. I wouldn't be that surprised, and I wouldn't even blame him, to be honest. But it
doesn't help that these Bengals keep winning, and his two best friends are in these big games. I'm just saying, just something to monitor.
I mean, he had the most receiving year, almost broke the NFL record. I can't see a reason he'd be mad here.
I think he is all about winning, though. I really do. I think he cares more about winning than the big contract stuff. I just think he has that type of mentality. I think he wants to be in the big games.
Yeah, but he also gets mad when he doesn't have the ball. He doesn't get mad to the extent of Stephon Diggs, but
every star wide receiver gets mad when they
it's understandable.
As they should.
Yeah. Like in the Packer game, or there's a couple other games
in that game, but
where he just couldn't. Nobody was throwing him the ball. So
he sucked in that game. I'm
he gets doubled, and that's a Vikings thing next year. They have to figure out how to work around him getting doubled and dribbled.
I'm sure they will.
Is this going to turn into Vikings talk? Are we going to trade for Trey Lance?
No,
third rounder.
Trey Lance needs to go somewhere where he's going to play. He's been on the bench now for 2 years?
He hasn't played since 2019 or something. Well,
he needs to get some reps. We're not going to take him and have him sit for longer. It's just not going to happen.
No.
I don't want him. He's not good.
Well, we don't
He was put in a perfect – that's the most quarterback-friendly organization in the NFL, and he did not look good at all.
What?
That's all
he played
literally
2
a
games.
slippery slide.
A game and a half.
Yeah, Brock Purdy came in the first 2 games. He looked great.
That game,
also the first game
in Chicago was horrible.
Yeah, it was like a monsoon in Chicago. You can't judge him on that.
Yeah, great point, Lewis. No,
that's fine.
I don't doing that.
I don't want him.
Yeah, that's fair.
I'm not saying I want him either, but I don't think we should judge it yet.
That's fine.
He sucks.
I think he's a poor man's Justin Fields.
Yeah, Justin Fields is a running back, not a quarterback.
And Trey
Lance I love when people say that, even though it's not really true. But
no,
I'm not as high on Justin Fields as everyone else is. The Bears got the last pick in the draft this year, and they were trying to win games halfway through the year. Justin Fields kept throwing late interceptions.
Yeah. No, there's something to that. I think people either are super low on Fields because of that reason, or they're super high. I think a lot of Bears fans are super high on him just because he showed a bunch of flashes. I don't know where I am. I'm sort of in the middle because I do think he's super talented, and he needs more weapons on the outside.
He does.
But he always makes horrible mistakes late in the game. So I don't know how much that can change.
Also, he chirps his own fans, so that's something that I don't think is a good quality.
The last game, the 49ers and the Cowboys. This game was kind of boring in a way, but it was close. I didn't know who I wanted. the whole game. I didn't know who I wanted. I
Good.
honestly thought it would be kind of entertaining if the Cowboys got to play the Eagles.
Same.
But this is a great game this Sunday. I mean, 49ers Eagles, that's going to be a fantastic game. I don't know.
That's what I wanted more.
Yeah.
Also,
But,
I also had a substantial wager on the 49ers, so I enjoyed that game.
I did find myself at times rooting for the Cowboys, though, for some reason.
I did too.
Dak, I think this just proves that Dak just like stinks.
Dude, he sucks. I agree,
Like,
Lewis. He's just not it.
He made
It's not a
horrible
McCarthy.
decisions. It wasn't even just interceptions. He was like missing like wide open receivers at times.
Yeah,
And, like,
I'm not
throwing it
one
into,
to
like,
defend
double coverage.
McCarthy, but he didn't do that bad of a job this season. This season was all on Dak.
I
He had
agree.
the
It's
most
not Mike McCarthy's
interceptions.
job.
What's up?
It's not Mike McCarthy's fault as much.
I know, that's what I'm saying, but a lot of people are trying to pin it on McCarthy and Dak. It's like, no, that's just on Dak. He had the most interceptions in the league with like 5 fewer games than everyone else.
Yeah, you can only design so many plays to get players open. If your quarterback is throwing it to the other team, that's not the coach's fault.
Yeah. He can't blame that he doesn't have weapons, because he does. He can't blame the offensive line because they have a really good offensive line. Yeah, the Cowboys should be.
They have an awesome
if
team.
Dak was a better quarterback, or Dak played the way a lot of people think he should play, they should be much better than they were.
Like, it's a Super Bowl team.
That was a winnable game. It's not like the 49ers. Like, Brock Purdy did not look fantastic for most of that game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
because
that was
it's because the Cowboys have a good defense.
Yeah. Well, sort of
Good
the 49ers
line,
is the issue, too.
good weapons. They pretty much have everything except, I guess, a kicker and mediocre.
Oh, man, I felt bad for Brett Maher, but God, it was funny. I really wanted to miss another one.
Yeah, it was. There's no shot he's returning next year to the Cowboys, right?
I don't think so.
But how about
he's-
Jerry Jones coming down to the
Yeah.
field before the game and talking to him? Like,
There's
things
that
like calm him
can't
down.
help. That is
no.
only
makes
making it worse.
Yeah.
He's hot though now. He made 2 in a row at the end. I think.
Well, he was
feeling
like
himself.
really good for like 97% of the
Yeah, I
year
know.
until
He
like last
just
week.
was missing extra points, and
Yeah.
then the extra point.
Did you guys see after how Jerry Jones was like, "Oh, no doubt that Dak will be our quarterback"? It's like,
Well, yeah, because he
why
has
does
this
he keep
huge
doing
contract.
why does he keep doing this where he keeps these mediocre quarterbacks on his team?
Because
First
he's the
and
one that
foremost,
signed him to that huge contract, and like no
I know,
team's going to
but
want to take that contract.
They have such a good team, and he's holding them back.
Where would this team go with Tony Romo in his prime?
Same.
You don't think he was that much better? I thought Tony
No.
Romo was better than
No,
Dak.
they're the same person.
Really?
Jack is not a fan of Tony Romo in the booth. He hates his guts.
I'm talking on the field.
Well,
Who'd you rather have in the booth, Dak or Tony Romo?
Dak.
No, Dak is the most boring guy of all
I'd rather have
time.
a homeless person in the booth.
I don't mind Tony Romo. I mean, he's a little too much. I'd agree with that, but I don't know. He's fine. You like Greg Olsen?
Jack's argument in that Tony Romo was like kind of critical sometimes, but like, he wasn't that good.
Wait, what are you talking about? As a player?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, he sucked.
I guess I remember there were some games where he was just slinging that thing.
No.
But he didn't make it far. They didn't really make it that far.
It was the same thing. It was like Jerry Jones is sticking with Romo. He's sticking with Jason Garrett. It's like, what are you doing?
Is it time for like Jerry Jones to not be the GM anymore? Like,
Oh, no doubt. But you think he's giving that
Well,
up?
no.
But at the same time, he's put together a hell of a team.
He
Besides the
does.
most
Like, yes and
important
no.
position.
Like the problem is now you pay Dak and Zeke these huge contracts, and Zeke is the clear number 2 back to Tony Pollard.
Yeah.
And
Well,
Tony
wait a
Pollard's a free
That-
agent next year.
They might have won that game if Pollard didn't get hurt.
that was a huge deciding part of that game is Tony Pollard breaking his leg.
Yeah.
You got to feel bad for Tony Pollard, who's now a free agent this
Yeah.
offseason, but he has a
Mhm.
broken leg.
Yeah.
So how long does that take?
Broken leg? I thought it was just like a ankle.
No, he
Sprain.
broke his like fibula,
Damn.
so he's getting surgery. It's like 3 months. It's not like you're tearing your ACL, but still, it's not.
Yeah.
Dude, that second interception in the red zone, terrible.
No, Dak just sucks. Not even the interception. Not even just the interceptions. Like he's missing reads.
Yeah. He's not. He doesn't throw a good deep ball.
There's that one play where CD Lamb was going down the field and Fred Warner was covering him, and he was like blanketed,
Mhm.
and he tried to force it to him, and like Fred Warner just had good coverage, and Brown on the other side of the field was running wide open.
Mm-hmm.
It's like he's only 10 yards to the left of him. You can't see that.
You think Kellen Moore deserves a head coaching gig?
No.
Dan Quinn might though.
Yeah, Dan Quinn's good. Yeah, that defense I remember like 3-4 years ago was awful, and now they're like unbelievable.
Yeah, and they don't even have like besides Micah Parsons, they have like good line, but they're
DeMarcus Lawrence.
They have good line and good linebackers, but their secondary isn't anything like ridiculous. Like Diggs kind of sucks.
Diggs is overrated.
Yeah.
Curse, like what has he ever done? Like those are like two of their main corners.
Yeah, I mean they have a bunch. I can't even think of any players. There's so many.
I mean, I'd take Diggs in a heartbeat, but yeah.
Well, obviously, because like our secondary just sucks, but like their scheme must be pretty good if they're able to cover receivers in the NFL with like average cornerbacks.
But dude, that Parsons draft pick was so money. You
gotta hit on your pass rushers.
The key to playing a good defense in the NFL nowadays is running a 3-4 defense, because that's what majority of teams do, and being able to rush the passer.
Yes.
And having fine DBs. The most important thing is having a good pass rush
and a good O-line.
That's what is a segue to the next game, in that the Chiefs are going to have Frank Clark rushing Joe Burrow with a bad offensive line next week. And the Bills did not have anyone rushing Joe Burrow last week.
And Chris
Jones. The Bengals have anybody rushing Mahomes?
Trey Hendrickson, Sam Hubbard.
Yeah. Both of them are good.
Yeah. They both have good D lines. It's the Eli Apples of the world, whether he can hold up against the Chiefs pass catchers.
And it's just how good Mahomes' ankle can be after walking on crutches all week and not practicing.
It's pretty crazy.
What?
Is he not practicing?
You can't practice on a sprained ankle. You're just going to get it as...
He played a game.
Well, yeah, but like that's a game. You're going to play in that in the playoffs.
I've got to think that he'll be fine.
Did you know that Andy, like, he wanted to come back in before he got an X-ray, and Andy Reid like sent him to the locker room? That's why Mahomes is all mad on
the sideline.
Yeah.
This game, let's move forward to previewing this game a little bit. It's another example of how running backs aren't very important, because for the Bengals, Samaje Perine plays more snaps than Joe Mixon, especially when they're down. He will play more snaps and that shows you that running a committee is what works nowadays, and not paying. I don't know how much Mixon makes, but he's overrated.
Huck, a better example of that would be the Chiefs.
No, I know. I was going to do the Chiefs too.
McKinnon.
Yeah,
7th rounder is their starter, who's good.
Yeah, I mean he can't do anything on passing downs, but he's a good runner.
Yeah, you got to just like use a draft pick in like the 6th or 7th round on a running back every like 2 or 3 years.
Forever. He's been on the don't pay the running backs, just do what the Chiefs do, and it works. That's what the Vikings should do.
The counter to that is the 49ers.
Yeah, but you need that's all scheme related.
Yes and no, because that offense got
I'm not convinced
better when McCaffrey.
I'm not convinced Christian McCaffrey would be on the Vikings this year. He would have done all that much better than Dalvin.
No, probably not. But I think McCaffrey's ankle was bothering him or something, or his calf. He kept seeing him stretch, and he wasn't playing in a lot of the downs. Like, remember that last play that it was Mitchell?
Yeah,
that should have slid, and the game wouldn't.
He was just coming in on 3rd downs. Christian was.
Yeah, that game would have been over if Mitchell would have slid after the 1st down, but he didn't. It went out of bounds. McCaffrey slides there, and that game's over.
Derrick Henry out. Nick
Josh
Chubb
Jacobs
out. Josh Jacobs out.
Yeah,
what do you mean out?
Like not playing anymore. Like
no, Josh Jacobs good.
Oh, he said like they're not playing in the playoffs.
Oh yeah. Well, and Dalvin and Zeke, those are the other 2 high paid.
Yeah.
Oh, Zeke. I mean,
Zeke is. Yeah.
You got to cut him. Just why would you pay him anymore?
Yeah, eat the contract.
Yeah.
And Jerry Jones has $20 billion, not that much.
$11 billion.
You're able to eat that contract and be fine.
Yeah. But the other side, like the Eagles and the Niners, they do have some good running backs. And both of those teams sort of rely heavy on the run game. From the Eagles, it's Hurts and Sanders. The 49ers, obviously McCaffrey. So there you can do that, but you need a great offensive line then, and you need a great head coach or good scheme that the 49ers have. And I don't know, Nick Sirianni. whatever.
That guy's such a tool.
I'm excited for that game. That game's gonna be both games gonna be fantastic. But
yeah, let's make some picks here.
Okay.
Who do you have in the Bengals Chiefs?
I have the Chiefs.
All right.
I just think it's time for Mahomes to be anointed. I think it's time I think they're gonna win it all, but he's gonna win his second title. Yep. And I just think that the Chiefs are just a better team than this hot Bengals, and you got to be aware of the team that looked extremely good in the last round. The Bills just looked flat, but I mean, we saw it kind of with the Cowboys, like kicking the crap out of the Buccaneers, and then they just lost in that game last week. So I think a similar thing could happen this week with the Chiefs and the Bengals, and that the Chiefs are just the better team, and we'll show it. But who knows? Joe Burrow has been the Chief killer.
Yeah, Borsty, who do you got here?
Yeah, I got the Chiefs. I mean, I called it in week 5 or week 7, whatever. I said the Chiefs are going to win it all, but that's not. I just really like Mahomes. I think he's unbelievable. I'm just a big fan. I just wish his ankle was 100% because this does scare me a little bit if he's even a little limited. But ultimately, I think he'll be fine because I actually do trust the Chiefs D. I hope that doesn't come back to hurt me next week. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I got the Chiefs.
I'm falling into the trap. I'm falling into the Joe Burrow trap. I'm also falling into the trap that I think the Bengals pass. Yeah, I don't care. Joe Burrow can go anywhere. He'll win.
I know, but
I think that the Bengals will be able to get pressure on Mahomes, and I don't know how bad or good it's going to be. I think the Bengals have a better OC or DC than the Jags have, and I think they'll be able to slow down Travis Kelce more and not give him so many goddamn hot routes where he just turns around 3 yards and just passes it to him.
Yeah, but who can guard him?
On the Bengals, I don't know the Bengals defensive players all that well. I mean, but I'm more confident that they just stop Josh Allen and the Bills offense, and they obviously the Ravens.
That's what makes me nervous. But the difference between the Chiefs and the Bills is the Chiefs can run the ball and the Bills can't.
Right.
Not really. I mean,
they could run the ball more than the Bills.
I agree. I wouldn't say all that much more.
Dude, Pacheco gets like 7 yards a carry.
Pacheco, let's look at the last 2 weeks he has run the ball well. I don't know. He's only cracked 100 yards once. He doesn't get that many carries.
He doesn't get a ton of carries, but
I know.
Can run the ball.
I know. I'll say this as a Bengals backer, I guess I could call myself. I'm not worried about their run game.
Yeah. Okay. Fair.
I would be more worried about Patrick Mahomes. And now that Patrick Mahomes is hurt and I have Joey Burrow on my side, I'll take the Bengals. And I'm pretty confident too, which is not good. The other game, 49ers Eagles, you guys go first. I have to think about my selection here.
I think I'm going to go with the Eagles.
I'm going with the 49ers. I just hate Philly scumbag fans.
I do too. I
don't know. The thing that scared me is that the 49ers offense didn't look all that exceptional last weekend, but their defense looked fantastic.
But guess what? The Eagles offense is better than the Cowboys offense.
Yeah, that's kind of what's. I don't know. This is more of like a heart pick than a brain pick.
This is an easy pick for me, and I think it's the Eagles easily. I think Brock Purdy, this is his first game on the road in a major environment, right?
And he didn't play well last week at all.
And the Eagles have the best defense that he's probably – well, the Cowboys had a good defense, but the Eagles defense at Lincoln Financial Field against Brock Purdy, give me that all day. Yeah. I'm not kind of concerned. I think the Eagles can move the ball. I think they'll be able to move the ball. If this was in San Fran, I think I'd probably pick the Niners. It's because it's in Philly.
I think Chiefs Eagles would be a hell of a Super Bowl.
Yeah, it would.
Yeah, it would. I want the line. I think the line's at 2.5 right now. For the Eagles are favored, but I would love the line to get to like 3.5 for the Eagles because take the points in that game. I think either way it's gonna be a field goal game.
So the Bengals are 2.5-point favorites against the Chiefs. That's interesting.
What?
Yeah, because people think that Mahomes' ankle is like very messed up.
I think so too. I mean, yeah, it's bad. It's bad. It's not good.
A high ankle sprain, you're normally out for like 2-3 weeks.
Yeah, at least.
Well, yeah, if this was week 15, he would be out.
Oh,
yeah. Guarantee it.
The good news is for the Chiefs, if they get past this game, he'll have 2 weeks to get ready for the Super Bowl. But
if they win this game, they're winning the Super Bowl.
Any of these the good thing though about this weekend is any of these combinations will be an interesting Super Bowl. No matter who wins the game on either side, I think it's going to be a good Super Bowl either way.
Yeah, like let's see, 49ers.
Like what's like the worst matchup that the Super Bowl could be? Like there's like not really an answer.
49ers Bengals would be.
I'd rather because I like watching the Bengals. I think the worst would be 49ers against the Chiefs.
Because the Chiefs would just kill or what?
That'd be interesting though. That'd be a rematch of what, the 2019 Super Bowl?
I think the Bengals are more fun than the Chiefs.
I don't know, but
the best one would be
Eagles getting another storyline. You know, that
Eagles Chiefs is the best Super Bowl matchup here.
You're probably right. Yeah,
and Eagles Bengals is pretty good too.
I want Eagles Bengals. I think that'd be a great game.
I think the 49ers. There's been weeks where you can run on the Eagles defense.
Yeah.
So if they get that zone run game going and that motion run game going or whatever they do,
I'll take the Philly fans against Brock Purdy all day.
Yeah, we'll see. Brock Purdy seems pretty cool. He seems pretty calm though. He doesn't seem like he gets riled up in there.
I agree.
That one. Do you guys at the end of the first half? He almost let the time expire. They didn't get a.
That was idiotic. Yeah. I mean, what are you doing, dude?
Like that's the one time I've been like, oh my gosh, like that's a rookie quarterback. Right
he made a couple good throws, but like even
that Kittle play was unbelievable.
Even that throw to Kittle where he was like bobbling it, that kind of decided the game, and that shouldn't have been a catch.
Mm-hmm. You know who is an X factor, I think, for the 49ers is Ayuk, who doesn't get talked about enough.
Who, Ayuk?
Robbie Gold doesn't miss.
Yeah, that's true. But Ayuk,
yeah, Brandon Ayuk is good.
Yeah, he doesn't get talked about as much because of McCaffrey, Kittle, and Debo. But I feel like they hit Ayuk on all these important third downs.
Yeah, every time it's always a crossing slant over the middle. Ayuk's wide open. Yeah. All right. Well, Lewis, I know you have to go. Me and Borsty are going to stick around here and talk about the Wolves. But,
yeah, nice game last night, huh? That's a good Rockets team, I've heard.
Trust me, it was a depressing night last night texting Jackson Boris.
Yeah, Max turned on the TV. It was the Rockets. I was like, I can't even name a single player on this team. How are they losing to them?
No, it wasn't good. We're gonna try and figure some stuff out here.
Yeah, I think it's just time to move that franchise. Seattle's in need.
No.
All right, we'll see you guys later.
All right, see you, Lewis. All right, Borsty. Let's talk about the Wolves here. This is we're in another one of those times where it's not as bad as it seems. That's my point of view right now because it was one game, but you did lose to the team that's on a 13-game losing streak, and the Wolves have now lost, or they've won 8 of their last 8 of the last 13.
8 and 12.
I know, but I'm including the 13 to say that 2 of those games were against the Pistons. 1 of the games was against the Rockets. So 3 of the last 5 losses have been against the Pistons and Rockets.
Yeah. As weird as it sounds, I texted you this, but like I think it's good that we're done playing these teams.
To an extent, yeah. I mean, I wish, and looking back on it, I wish we played the Spurs in the last week of the season rather than the first week of the season.
100%.
Just because I think we'll be playing better basketball then. They'll be playing worse basketball then.
Right.
And but I don't know, because you saying that you're happy you're done with them. I'd rather play them than I'd play the Warriors. For example.
I know, I agree, but like we just play so horrendous.
It's bad basketball every time we play them. It's never a pretty game. But it's easier to win. That's the only thing.
That's true.
Because they will let you win. They tried to. I mean, we were down by 10. What? Were we down by 9 going into the fourth quarter?
Yeah.
We cut it to, I want to say 5 with 6:50 left.
And we cut it to 3 at one point.
We cut it to 1.
Oh yeah.
Ant made a 3. Cut it to 1, and then I think they went on. We didn't score. We didn't make a shot. Or they went on like a 9-0 run. At some point late in the game, capped by a Kenyon Martin steal and dunk. That was just, I mean, the thing with this team is, which is the reason I think D'Angelo Russell has to go. even though he was pretty good for most of the game. He was making everything.
Yeah.
Late game, we don't get great shots.
No.
This is the second time in the last week where we went like scoreless in the last
It's insane how
in
this
like a
keeps happening.
3-minute stretch.
Finch is so good out of the timeouts, but like late in games.
Well, it's the thing with Finch is it's a pick your poison because he prefers not to call a lot of plays because he doesn't like stagnant offense. He doesn't like slow offense. He likes movement, flow, randomness.
You need set plays at the end of games.
Yeah, to an
With
extent,
this team,
I agree.
with this team, not with every team. With this
if we had a smart ball handler that can sort of run the show, like a Kyle Lowry or like a Mike Conley or like a Anthony Edwards in 3 years,
go get Lowry.
Maybe Ant's that guy in 3 years, but he's not right now. He just turns the ball over too much.
Next year,
maybe next year. But I'm just saying right now for this team to win games against good teams in tight games, especially on the road. God, do you have to run better offense?
And I will say, I texted you this as well. Everything I've saying to the audience, I've texted you. But I agree with Finch.
I've heard it all.
That I don't like the scheduling here. Making us play them 2 games in a row, that's hard to do, no matter who the team is. Like, they're going to be more – I mean, they know you better. They know what you're going to do better. We have to go there. This is the 3rd time we've played them in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
I mean, not to be the excuse guy, but like –
I don't know. I mean –
you still need to take care of business. And those refs were horrendous. They missed so many travel calls on them that resulted in buckets. And they called a carry on Ant that was just
Mark Davis, which was one of the refs last night. He's come into my top 3 worst refs in the NBA.
And the girl was horrible too. She was
Ashley Moyer Gleish. Yep. She's not
so
great.
Bad.
But yeah, Mark Davis sucks. Number 1 worst ref. If you ever see Jason Goebel reffing the Wolves game, be prepared for hell. That's all I'll say.
What about Scott Foster? Isn't he pretty terrible?
He likes himself. He likes
calls.
making about
he just
himself.
Makes so many calls.
I don't mind him, honestly. I don't think he's that bad. Same with Ed Malloy. Ed Malloy also likes himself.
He's good, isn't he?
He's fine.
Yeah.
But it's Mark Davis and Jason Goebel are God they suck. They are just horrible. Tony Brothers sucks too. Tony Brothers. Remember the name.
Okay.
All right. Now we play the Pels, and then we play the Grizzlies at home. Golly, if we would have won last night, tomorrow night's game would have been more fun. And if they won tomorrow night, Friday would have been just a massive game. Yeah. We would have all the momentum. Target center would be bumping. I still think it will be, no matter what, because the Grizzlies bring that. And the Wolves will probably win that game because we play well against good teams, especially at home.
Yeah, I think we're probably going to win tomorrow. Though Zion, you got to win this game.
So you talked last night a little bit about the Wolves with Rudy Gobert and how we just don't seem to win with him.
Yeah.
I did see the schedule, the games we have won with Rudy.
I know.
They're not great teams.
I know.
But I can see
I don't know if there's anything to it. What I said, I don't know if there's anything to that.
Yeah.
It's just like how it seemed.
Yeah.
And I will count the Cleveland game as a win without him because he left 1 minute in.
Yeah. No, for sure. And it's now the question is in the realm of trade rumors, Naz Reid is now, it went from D'Angelo Russell, which I think still think they're looking to trade, but Naz Reid is getting more of the headlines because there's so many teams.
It's because he's better.
There's so many teams interested in him. No, it's because of the money he makes, and it doesn't make a lot of sense, to be honest, because he's sort of a rental. It's not like you have team control over him.
I think the thing is, these teams will try to make a good impression on him and hope that he'll resign there if they give him a lot of playing time. I mean, he's a great player.
I mean,
I have a really interesting question for you.
Yeah.
Would you rather us trade D'Lo and throw in Nas as like the sweetener to that, and just get, I guess, another bad contract back but one that doesn't hinder the team as much as D'Lo because of how much he has the ball?
You would get a better player. That'd be like a trade if you're trading for like You might have to
Cam
add a
Reddish.
little even more, but like Fred VanVleet,
Yeah, whatever.
D'Lo, Nas, and maybe one more thing
Something like that.
for Fred VanVleet.
Or just trade Nas, don't trade D'Lo, but get a first-round pick back.
I'd rather do the D'Lo thing because we need him gone.
I know. I really went back and forth on this, but I kind of want to get a pick back. But also,
I'm not a huge picks guy. I think that's part of the reason.
We need them, John. We need the picks because it's not just about getting players. It's about leverage. It's about making trades. You need to have picks. But whatever. Either one I'd be fine with.
No, I understand. I've always been more on the side of players rather than gambling on a pick. But I understand your side is that it's an asset and that you can trade it.
I agree with that. So down the line, when Anton is prime, we're going to trade the picks that we have for an established player.
Would you rather have Gary Trent Jr. or a first-round pick?
Well, Gary Trent Jr. But listen.
They're sort of equally valued.
We will trade these picks when Anton's in his prime for a proven player. That's the whole point of having the picks.
Right, or you could just not have picks and have some good players.
Well,
like Gary Trent Jr.
But we shouldn't be doing that right now.
Right now, but I mean, we sort of are in win now mode. The thing with this trade all along, listen. Listen, the thing with this trade all along is that we'll be in win now mode for an extended period of time. Because right now you have Rudy, Cat, and Ant. Once those guys are done in I don't know how long, hopefully Cat this summer, Rudy in 4 years, then you're still winning with Anthony Edwards. This is just a prolonged relevance. Whereas if you kept this team from last year and they unfortunately took a step back,
they wouldn't have.
You'd be in no man's land unless you made a big trade.
We wouldn't be in no man's land. We'd be in the same position we are now, but we'd have all our picks and we'd trade Cat for more picks.
Well, yeah, but do you want to be? That's a rebuild. Last year's team without Cat is a rebuild. That's not a good team.
No, I get what you're saying. Last year, but this year, Ant has gotten so much better, as we've seen. And he's ready to be the guy.
To an extent.
Yeah.
He's not good enough to carry a team on a deep playoff run.
No, not right now.
I don't think he is.
But I think with the right pieces, I think he could as soon as next season.
He could be, yeah. He still has to mature a little bit.
Yeah, it's all part of the process.
Yeah. No, I think Ant's he's in a good spot right now.
I thought of another thing.
Go ahead.
Oh man. I literally just forgot it.
Well,
I literally just forgot it.
Let's see. Let's talk about the standings real quick. I know you don't like this.
If it comes back to me, I'll say it.
All right. Standings in the NBA. Timberwolves are currently in 8th. They are one game back at the 5th seed. One game.
But a lot of other teams are also one game back. I thought about this yesterday.
No.
All these teams are playing each other, so it's not like it helps us. Because someone's always playing each other to get to that spot.
There's only the Clippers and the Phoenix Suns. Clippers are a half game back of the 5th. Suns are one game back along with us.
What about
behind us? The Jazz are a game and a half back of the 5th. The Warriors are a game and a half back, and the Thunder are a game and a half. Wait, hold on. This is not updated. The Wolves are also a game and a half back.
Yeah,
but that's this whole season is going to be like this. So you can't immerse yourself too much in it. It's like I've told you, it's a roller coaster.
Yeah, but we're playing good teams this second half.
That's good. We play well against them.
Yeah. Except on the road. We can't win on the road. It's so infuriating. We just can't do it.
We just got to win our home games, steal some on the road. That's the key to success.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then maybe Cat will help this team and not hurt them.
Yeah, hold on. I need to go through some of these texts.
Stats?
Texts.
Oh, why, you trying to remember something?
Yeah.
Well, while you do that, I'll talk about tonight's games a little bit. The Nuggets play against the Pelicans. That's a good game. We're rooting for the Nuggets. The Wizards play the Mavs. We're rooting for the Wizards. Hornets face the Suns. We're rooting for the Hornets. And the Clippers face the Lakers. I'm rooting for the Lakers.
Okay, so I said if Cat is back, I have my doubts. I'm just sad. And then all of a sudden, it's 5 years down the road, and we're back in a rebuild.
This is a quick snapshot. This is a quick snapshot into your negativity of brain after a loss. This is every time we goddamn lose.
We got lucky with the number 1 pick in 20. Probably won't happen again. Can't believe everything after the great stuff of last year. I'm not mad anymore. I'm just straight up sad. So on the subject of that, I mean, we're both in agreement. We need.
You know what my response was to that text?
You can feel that way if you want to.
Yep. It's just, you can feel whatever way you want to. That was in a moment where you were trying to drag me down into your sinkhole, and I wasn't letting it happen. You can have all the opinions you want to have. I am an optimistic person. I am positive.
I want to be.
What did I say? Something.
You said get off the roller coaster.
Yeah, that's true. Oh, I gave you that funny hypothetical.
Oh yeah, that was ridiculous.
I told you. What if I told you we missed the playoffs this year? Don't trade Cat. Make the play-in next year and lose in the first round. Then in year 3 we win the championship.
So 2 years from now.
I wouldn't. The reason I brought that up is because I wouldn't let you celebrate, because by that point of the 3rd season, you would be out. You would, if mother effed every goddamn player on this team besides Anthony Edwards. Tim Connolly would be the death of you, and we win a championship, and you're all hurrah again. Not allowed.
Well, listen. I will lose hope if we don't trade Cat this summer.
What if we won the championship this year? What would you do?
It's not happening.
No, I'm just saying it's a hypothetical. For all that you've said, would you love Tim Connolly?
No.
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 He built this team and they win a championship.
No.
And you don't like him?
Gerson Rosas.
No.
Important pieces on this team. If we win a championship, it's going to be because of Ant, McDaniels, Nas, McLaughlin.
Just nothing for Cat or Rudy. They're going to play very high. If we win the championship, they'd be 2 of our highest guys.
I just don't see it happening. I don't even know if we're gonna get out of the play-in.
No, we're making the playoffs. I told you that. But yeah, no, you would have to give Tim Connolly. If we win the championship, it'd be because Cat and Rudy mesh so well by the end of the season, and Anthony Edwards is phenomenal. But a big reason would be because of Tim Connolly bringing in Rudy Gobert, and so you would have to give him his props.
I mean, I guess, but
we're
talking about if we win the championship. If we win the championship.
Yeah, you have to give Tim Connolly his praise. If you win a goddamn championship, you have to give the general manager of the team.
All right, let's think.
He's the orchestrator of all of it.
Okay, what if the Rockets win 40 straight games? And win the championship. Does their coach deserve?
Oh, hell yes. That would be unbelievable.
They're both not happening.
I don't know. I mean, we could make a run this year. I still think we can.
I think we can make it to the second round. I really do. But I just don't know if I...
What do you consist of a... Okay. Oh, this is what I want to ask you earlier. Since you like to always talk about how you make all these good takes and
yes,
how looking back, I was right about that. All right. Yep. and that you can't. The reason I want to do this is because if they make moves and they don't work out, you're not allowed to get mad because you wanted them. So what do you want this team to do right now?
Well, what do you mean right now?
For the deadline.
Deadline? I want to get rid of D'Lo.
That's it?
Well, because I'm not in the room. I don't know what Naz Reid wants. Like, I don't know what he wants.
It's not up to him. Oh, in terms of money, I mean, yeah, it's other teams are going to pay him a lot more than we are. I already know it. That's how it'll work. That's why I think it'd be smart to move him.
Well, that's what you need to know here. If Naz doesn't have any intention of coming back, you need to trade him. Mm-hmm. So that's what I would do. I would trade him, and I'd try to get a first rounder because I think a team would do it. A first rounder in like 2025, I think a team would do it.
What if we trade D'Lo and we become worse? Would you admit your faults for all this time?
I guess. Yeah, I would admit it. I wanted it, and that's fine.
That's all I ever asked for from you is you to admit your faults because you pat yourself on the back plenty when you're right about something.
Yeah, I know. If we trade D'Lo, and it's gonna work out if we trade him. We're automatically better without him.
Depending on what we get back, but yes. We need J-Mac back too.
Yeah, but this is what I want. I want us to trade D'Lo for Kyle Lowry. That's what I want.
You want that?
Yes.
All right. I don't think it's going to happen. I think it's less likely.
Are we going to trade him?
Because the Heat are playing better now. And so
are we going to trade him?
D'Lo?
Yeah.
They have to be looking. They have to.
Because we're not re-signing him.
The thing with D'Lo is you could look at his numbers from last night and think he played really well. But in the most important part of the game, he just shut down.
Yeah, and he passed it in a well.
Well, I can't blame him for that. The guy was wide open. That's how basketball works. You pass to the open guy.
But the last 4 minutes, he was murdering our team, and he gave him the ball again. Whatever. That's more a Noel thing than a D'Lo thing.
Noel wasn't in with 4 minutes left.
No, for the last 4 minutes, like before he passed that.
Oh, sure.
But listen. So say we don't trade D'Lo like idiots, and no team wants to sign D'Lo to the big contract because who would? And all of a sudden we offer the 1-year extension or whatever the hell. So now we're running it back with the same exact team again. That's my biggest fear in this whole thing.
There's not a world where D'Lo is back on this team next year unless he comes back for $15 million a year.
Would he do that?
No. That's why he's not going to come back. He's the player he is the type of player that cares about the money. He's going to go wherever he gets paid the most. That's how it goes.
Yes, but what if no other team wants him, which no other team does?
I would take him as a sixth man. God, he'd be a good sixth man.
He would. Not for us, though.
Oh, I'd take him as a sixth man if we have a better. I mean, although that would sort of eliminate Jordan McLaughlin, but I do think D'Lo and J-Mac could play together off the bench. We would just need a new starting point guard.
You know that's not going to happen.
I know it's a hypothetical. I like hypotheticals, but I do think D'Lo is at some point in his career, if he wants to be on a legitimate winning team, has to be as a sixth man.
Or still in the league.
Yeah,
I think he will pretty soon, actually. But I just don't know. I don't know if we're going to move him. And what about Noel? Do you think we move him?
I don't know where his value lies. We just have to pray that McLaughlin comes back at some point for Noel to take a seat on that bench.
Yeah. Well, what if a team offers a second rounder for Noel? You got to take it, right?
Yeah, I would.
Like a 2026 second rounder.
Although he's not going to get paid much. Like he has a contract coming up this summer, right? He's not going to get paid. He's not going to get paid.
Maybe like $4 million.
Yeah.
3-year deal, $4 million.
That's nothing.
But and then I go back to would I do that? I don't know. I mean, he's sometimes good. Maybe this contract stuff is what's making him play terrible.
The reason Finch still plays him is because there's times where we absolutely need guys that can go get a bucket.
And he can sometimes.
Well, that's what he brings. And so that's why you have to play him. You have to play him. Even though
he kind of like D'Lo, though. So where he's cold, he is horrendous because he can't play defense.
Correct.
I think Noel might be a worse defender than D'Lo.
He's not as smart. D'Lo's a smart defender. He just can't do what he thinks he can do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, yes, I know D'Lo was really good in that first half, but I still think if he would have maybe stopped a little bit and maybe given it to Ant to kind of get going in that second quarter, I don't think we lose that game. I don't
The
think
second quarter is not where we lost. We lost that game at the start of the fourth, the end of the third.
because of Noel.
Yeah, when that bench came in. That's why we need Torian Prince. We need Kyle Anderson. We need Jordan McLaughlin.
We're 4-13 without Prince.
God, we'd be so much better if we were healthy. We just would. There's so many of these games where we lose because of our depth is not there.
Yeah.
But I think in the long run, this could help us because it has shown that, like Austin Rivers, when we were fully healthy, he was barely playing, and now he's shown that he can have a role.
I think he should have been playing,
but
we
there
weren't
was no room for him.
We weren't a better team with Cat and Rudy on the floor.
There was no room for him. Bryn Forbes wasn't even really playing.
He still isn't.
No, I know. I'm just saying, like, those guys both weren't playing. We had no.
You want
room
to know what's
for
interesting? Is if Cat comes back and then all of a sudden Rudy gets like a groin thing and he misses a couple games.
Is that what you want?
No.
That's we're running it back from last year again.
I'm interested in seeing it.
Remember when you were? I think have you gotten to the point? Let's finish this up soon. We're running on an hour here. Have you almost got to the point where you were you weren't happy, but you were very, very intrigued when Karl Anthony Towns went down? I think it's time we need him back.
No, of course I was optimistic because and I was right because
to an extent it's not like we've won many more games.
It woke Ant up.
We're almost 500. I think we're like 500.
Yeah,
with him out.
But the thing is, we needed Ant to take this step. And he has. Yeah. And that's because Cat has been out.
Uh-huh. Yeah, I agree.
So that's why we got to trade him.
But now I would like Cat back. Now we've established this Anthony Edwards thing. He has taken a leap. I don't think Cat coming back now, Ant would take. I don't think Ant. I think everyone realizes. Yeah. I think he would still be the player he is right now.
I agree. But then I go back and forth because then it's like there are still times when all of a sudden D'Lo's feeling it where.
Well, if he's feeling it, I want him to shoot it. He doesn't miss when he's feeling it.
Yeah, but it just takes away from the touches, and we need the touches. We need them. And now all of a sudden,
I don't care how we get points. I want points.
You should care. You should care because it's all about him getting better so that we can really peak when he is in his prime, in the championship contender.
No, I understand, but like right now, it doesn't matter if Ant scores 20 versus 30. If that means D'Lo made 3 more shots on 3 more attempts. Like, I guess I want whoever's feeling good to shoot it. Sometimes Jalen Noel is feeling it, and he won't miss.
Jim Pete made a great point yesterday when he said, Ant needs to score 24 at least for this team to win. And I totally agree with that.
Yeah. Yeah, because they just don't have that many scorers right now. Whether it's like Jaden McDaniels sometimes isn't scoring, Kyle Anderson sometimes isn't scoring. I don't know, like D'Lo sometimes isn't scoring that much. Ant is the one guy that you can rely on usually to go get you 25 points.
Yeah, and I still think he's capable of more.
He can be. Last night he didn't show up till the fourth quarter, and then all of a sudden he wouldn't miss. Just throwing heat checks in the face of Aaron Gordon.
What do you think? So, in 4 years, what do you think he's averaging points-wise?
It's so hard to predict. I mean, we don't know who the hell's going to be on this team in 4 years. We don't even know if he's going to be here.
You don't know if he's going to be
here.
No,
sorry. I should have said that.
You don't. No. I'm not, offended or anything. I'm just why would you say that?
There's a 2% chance that something happens and Anthony Edwards isn't on the Timberwolves. I have no idea. I guess there's a world. There's so many unknowns in 4 years. Basketball, sports, in general, anything happens. 4 years. I'm not saying that's going to happen. There's a 1% chance it happens, but there's a 1% chance that Jason Tatum wins a championship this year and asks out in 2 years of Boston. You just don't know.
So you're saying it's like the same thing, like Tatum requesting out, same as
No, I think there's there's
a better chance that Ant stays in 4 years more than Tatum.
probably, yeah.
So yeah, that whatever.
The point of me saying that was not to ruffle your feathers. It was to just point that in 4 years we don't know. So my answer to your question is probably like 29 a game. That'd be my guess.
Well, no, it's more like this kind of upward trajectory, and we know how much better it can get. What does it look like? Because the 3-point shooting, I still think can get better.
It can, based off of shot selection, but I'm fine. I mean, the way he shoots the tough threes he shoots, the volume he shoots them at, 36% is just fine.
I know,
and
but I still think he can get higher. That's the thing.
Yeah,
and you add in the free throws, can still get better at those, and then you add in the finishing at the rim, which he has gotten a lot better at.
This year he's been better, but what he needs to do to take another step is creating fouls and getting to the line more. He doesn't get to the line enough.
Yeah. He had 44 points on 2 free throws.
Yeah, well, that's what happens when you can't miss from 3. Yeah. And you're dunking on people. I mean, that's the Ant that we all loved. The aggressive. He doesn't do that as much anymore, it feels like.
Well, I mean, I don't know. The last 25 games we've seen it.
How many dunks, though?
Well, I kind of think that there hasn't been as many is because he's gotten better at finishing around the rim with the layups and stuff.
Yeah, and his hip and stuff like that.
Well, the last, 17 games, he's averaging 27. So.
True.
That's what happens when he's the number 1 guy.
Yeah. I don't think that'll change. I don't. All right. I think we've hit on all the topics with the Wolves and the NFL and Lewis, and thank you for coming on. Everybody go like and subscribe to the JT Sports Show. Follow us on all social media platforms. We'll probably be back either later this week or early next week to talk about the playoff games. And we don't know where the Wolves will be in a week because everything changes within a week. It could be 2 losses. It could be 2 wins. It could be 1 loss, 1 win. We have no idea. There could be a player that's not on the team anymore in a week. So hopefully that's the case because we need to make a move. And hopefully that's D'Angelo Russell. Maybe it's Naz Reid. Maybe it's Jalen Noel. I don't know. Maybe Bones Highland is on the Timberwolves. But we'll leave that discussion for another time. All right, everybody, thank you for listening. Have a great day.